Hi everyone, my name is Chloe, aka C. Shoddy Hill, and welcome back to my douchey channel. Today I'm here to talk about why I'm vegan, actually. And I know this is kind of like a controversial topic for some people. For some reason, vegans really piss people off. And I get it. Some vegans are super annoying. They have like this holier than thou attitude, like they're on this high horse and they're way better than everyone else and everyone else sucks. Like, I don't believe that, but it is frustrating to see people just like hate vegans so much because we're not all like that. And I think the outspoken ones are the ones who give veganism like a bad name or whatever. So I just wanted to put that disclaimer out there. Not all vegans are assholes. I'm not an asshole. I try not to be an asshole. I think I'm not an asshole. I don't know. Let me know if you think I'm an asshole. Anyway, I've been vegan for about 8 months now. And full disclosure, I've had fish a couple times since I went vegan. For me to go from being a complete omnivore, eating, meat, fish, dairy every day of my life, to one day waking up and saying no more, for me to have had fish like 5 or 6 times over 8 months, I'm not beating myself up over that. I just wanted to tell you so I don't feel like I'm lying, because I have had fish a couple times. Hey, do not eat my freaking plant. No, no, no. Copper's going vegan. He's been eating my aloe plant for the past few days. So there are a lot of reasons why people go vegan, and I just wanted to discuss some of those reasons and explain my experience so far. I also intend to make videos with people who are more experienced vegans, like my boyfriend, for example. He's a professional vegan chef, and he's been vegan for over 10 years, I think even over 11 years now. And I would love to make a video with him, maybe to show you guys some easy recipes, or just for him to talk about his experience, because I haven't even been vegan for a year yet, but I definitely love it. I'm definitely not going back, as far as I can tell. I might indulge in some fish occasionally. I love sushi. Kill me. Alright? Kill me for it. Don't come at me if you're a hardcore vegan. I'm trying to help the vegan community here, okay? So the 3 main reasons people go vegan are for like ethic/moral reasons, and then we have the environmental reasons, and then of course there's health. And I know there are counter arguments to everything that I'm going to talk about today. You can interpret data basically in favor of any viewpoint, I know that. But from my personal experience, I know that going vegan has been nothing but positive for me. And I think a lot of people have their own personal anecdotes supporting the argument for veganism. And I think that those stories are worth sharing, and there's a lot of truth in there. Let's start with the health reasons. I'm not going to go into a bunch of science or a bunch of detail. We live in the age of information. You can look up anything at any time, and you can do this on your own. I'm not going to try to be a scientist here, but there are studies that support a plant-based diet for a bunch of different health reasons. It has been shown that it can reduce symptoms of arthritis, it can reduce your risk of heart disease, it can reduce your risk of getting type 2 diabetes, it reduces your risk of being overweight, it helps you lose weight, it appears to lower blood sugar and improve kidney function, and it may even reduce your risk of getting certain types of cancers. Now, all of these studies have been observational in nature, and like I said, there's no way to prove exactly what it is that makes vegans less susceptible to getting certain types of cancers. But like I said before, I think it's worth looking at these personal anecdotes and seeing how people have literally cured themselves of various ailments by switching to a mainly or completely plant-based diet. And also, just like look up all the professional athletes who have switched to a plant-based diet and just see what they have to say about it and how their performance has increased since switching. Just because you eat meat doesn't mean you're getting all of the nutrients and protein and everything you need is perfect. That's just simply not true. When you're vegan, cholesterol is something that we don't need to worry about half as much as we do when we're consuming animal products. And like I said, I'm not an expert here. I'm not going to go into this, but there's a lot of compelling arguments that going vegan helps your health, improves your health vastly. Me personally, I lost like 10 pounds or 12 pounds, something like that, when I went vegan, and I didn't change anything else about my lifestyle. And now I've been able to maintain my weight at a healthy weight for longer than I ever have. Honestly, my weight tends to go up and down. I've struggled with it. I've never been like obese, but I have definitely been like a little overweight. And it's always been a struggle where I would either have to like work out obsessively. I was working out like every single day or even twice a day sometimes to lose weight or to maintain a healthy weight. And I always felt hungry. I felt like I was restricting everything. And since I've gone vegan, I eat as much as I want, whatever I want. I eat better than ever. And my weight has not gone up. It stayed pretty much, you know, within a healthy fluctuation. I mean, I'm dating like a freaking professional chef. Like, I'm not eating salad every day. I think that in itself is awesome because everyone's fat. In America, everyone's freaking fat. It's a huge epidemic, okay? And like I said, I know that this data can be interpreted in many different ways, and it can be interpreted to support any argument, but I think that we as a whole, even if you don't want to go plant-based, even if you don't want to be a vegan, even if you don't give a shit about animals or the environment, just reducing the amount of animal products we eat, it's just become so normal due to the mass production and factory farming. Like, we're consuming more meat than ever, and we do have a major health crisis here, and I think there's obviously a reason why. Moving on from the health reasons, then we have all these environmental things, and same with the health, I'm not an expert on this. I don't want to spend half of this video going over the environmental benefits of reducing your consumption of animal products, but the cows, pigs, and chickens combined are probably much worse for global warming than vehicles, automobiles. It takes massive amounts of water to produce meat, and while the estimates vary, it is believed that for 1 kilo of beef, you have to use between 13,000 and 100,000 liters of water. So even if we're looking at the more modest side of this, even if it only takes 13,000 kilos of water, 13,000 liters of water, that's still a shit ton of water. Whereas if we're talking about wheat, it only takes between 1,000 and 2,000 liters of water to produce 1 kilo of wheat. Do your own research. And then the third reason why a lot of people choose to go vegan is the ethical and moral implications of consuming animals. And I think that this is something that a lot of people get hung up on. And for me personally, I went vegan for a combination of all three of these. So for me, I've always loved animals. I've been obsessed with animals since I was a little girl. I love animals. I love all animals, not just pets. And I think a lot of people are like, well, I love animals too. But I think a lot of people just love their pets. And for some reason, in our society, we've been able to completely separate like farm animals from our pets. And it's funny because in other countries and other cultures, people consume animals like dogs, and it's fine to them because it's a cultural thing. But for us, it's like, if we think of someone eating a dog, it's like, oh my god, like that's so fucked up, like that can't be happening. We'll go to these other countries to protest the dog meat trade, when in our own country we're killing cows, pigs, and chickens every single day as if they don't matter. But if you've ever met a cow, if you've ever met a cow or a pig personally, you'll know that these animals are, very much like horses, very much like dogs. Pigs are even smarter than dogs. I think they have the intelligence of something like a 2-year-old human child. So I have friends who have pigs as pets, and they have bonded with these pigs just like I've bonded with Copper and Oliver. And imagining anyone eating an animal that I love like that, it's hard. And I think that most people would agree with me if they really thought about it and they really sat with it and realized what actually happens to these animals. I know that people say there's humane ways of killing them and all that, but these animals are either stunned in really barbaric ways and then killed, or if they're kosher, they need to bleed to death so they can't even be stunned. It's a reality, and I think a lot of people just want to turn a blind eye to it, and I was one of those people for a really long time. It's easy to disconnect when you're in the grocery store and you see you know, all of your meat and dairy products packaged all nice, and you know, you have a picture of a happy cow on the front, and it's easy not to think about. But once it really hits you, if you love animals, I'm not judging you, but like once it really hits you, if you love animals, it shouldn't be hard for you to make the decision to stop eating meat and dairy products. And a lot of people, like, you know, go vegetarian and stuff, they're like, oh, I could stop with the meat, but like cheese, come on man, cheese, I love cheese so much, jerking off to the cheese. But but milk and eggs are just as tied to slaughter as actual meat is, and that's because these animals have been selectively bred, pumped with antibiotics, and they live a fraction of their normal lifespans. Dairy cows need to be impregnated, or at least have pregnancy hormones to produce milk. Yes, they produce a lot more milk than other types of cows, and they don't need to have babies as often. But the reality is a majority of these babies made for milk production are taken away from their mothers in a matter of weeks and slaughtered, especially if they're males. And it's not... This is hard because for me personally, I haven't quite decided if I think it's inherently wrong to consume meat or dairy. I do believe in evolution. I guess I believe in the food chain. But when we're consuming these things at this level and at this capacity, it's unsustainable, and there's no way to get around that, you know, these animals are going to be abused. I think it's fine if you have chickens in your own backyard and you take care of them and you love them and you eat their eggs. I don't see a problem with that. Like, I'd probably eat those eggs too. Do you get what I'm saying? So we consume things at this unprecedented level, consume animal products at this unprecedented level. And then these industries are forced to cut expenses, and that usually results in worse conditions for the animals. Like chickens, for example, they live a fraction of their natural lifespans. I think chickens live like something crazy, like a quarter of their natural lifespans. And then they grow at such a fast rate, such a faster than normal rate. Some die spontaneously, and then some can't even walk because they've grown so much and their legs can't support them. And then they can't even get to water and food, and they end up starving to death. And they have such small spaces between them, and then they have to worry about like violence between the animals in some cases, so they cut off their beaks, or with pigs they cut off their teeth. And I'm going to spare you the gory details. I'm not going to post any disgusting images here because it's very disturbing, but it's something you can't really avoid if you choose to consume these products. I mean, the list goes on, and it's easy to turn a blind eye to it, like I said, because I've done the same thing. Just think about it. So in conclusion, I've been vegan for 8 months. I've never been happier. I think I always had this cognitive dissonance deep down within me, and you know, you just kind of suppress it and push it down, but it gets to a point where you know enough that it's just not right. And then now that I've stopped consuming these products, I've never felt better, like mentally as well as physically, and I think that that's really important to note. It was hard for me to like look at pictures of pigs and cows and chickens and be like, oh my gosh, they're so cute, I love them, and then to turn around and eat them and contribute to their suffering. I feel a lot better about myself now that I don't do those things. And now in this day and age, it's easier to go vegan than ever. It depends on where you live, of course. There are more vegan options in certain places, such as like LA. Like, there's so many vegan restaurants, like probably the same amount of vegan restaurants as there are non-vegan restaurants. And then even the restaurants who aren't vegan, they have a bunch of vegan options, and it's just easier and more convenient than ever. Eating out is difficult sometimes, but I really haven't suffered that much. And at first it was a little confusing. I was like, well, what am I gonna eat? And I felt like there was dairy, especially dairy, like in everything. But you figure it out, and now at this point it's second nature, and it's not hard at all, and it's something I don't even think about. I don't miss anything, and there's no excuse. If you want to do it, you don't love cheese that much, there are great plant-based cheese options. If you want it, you can figure it out. If I can figure it out, you can figure it out. And if you guys have any questions or want to talk shit to me, I'll be responding in the comments. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you want to see more videos about veganism and, you know, my experience or why I'm vegan or maybe some cool recipes or something, let me know. I love to start talking about that more. I just didn't know how my subscribers would feel about that. All 54 of you guys. Thank you to everyone who's supported me on my channel so far. And I'm excited to see where we go with things. I'm going to try to get a video out about music therapy. I know that's something I initially said I was going to talk about, and I haven't really mentioned that much at all. So I do want to talk about that as well. Anyway, I hope you guys have an amazing day. I hope you stay safe. And even if you don't go vegan, just like do Meatless Monday or some shit. I don't know. I mean, you can do things to help without, it doesn't have to be black and white, you know? All right, peace and love. Bye.